All right, good to see y'all. Last weekend was a really special weekend for us, saying goodbye to those seniors, or not goodbye, but just, their last game in SJSU Stadium. It's a big deal. I think, when you think about some of those guys, we talked about Drew and Trey and Jaime and Pardue and Kyrie, those guys that have played so much football here. It was just a really, really special night. And, just a lot of people that have contributed in a big way to our process and our team and our program since I've been here. So it was really special to, to honor them the way we did, and then also to, play well enough to beat San Diego State. Like I said last week, I have tremendous respect for Coach Hoke and that staff. They've been arguably the best program in our conference, since I've been in here. And, so I just think those guys are really good people, and they had a great plan for us. And it was a hard-fought game that I thought our players did a great job of rallying and finding a way to win. And so, that was just a really special night in SFQ. We had a good crowd. We had some crazy weather. It's funny, you watch college football, you see all kinds of weather everywhere else, but you don't really get that here. And so to have that rain come up in the fourth quarter the way it did was kind of fun. I don't think we'll have to worry about weather this weekend, considering we're indoors. But we're getting ready to play a really, really good UNLV team, and I give Coach Odom and his staff a ton of credit. These guys are well coached. They play hard. They're good in all three phases. They do all the things that lead to winning football, and it's really impressive. They've got good players at all positions. They present a whole bunch of different challenges, in all three phases. And so this is an incredible challenge for our football team. Obviously, it's a huge game, and, so we're hard at work, practicing, putting together a plan, finding a way to give our players and our team a chance to play good football on Saturday on the road. And that's really where our heads are at. So what do you got for me?
Coach, just kind of touch on UNLV, and their ascent to the top of the Mountain West was really fast. Were you all surprised that they were able to kind of get to this point that fast after hiring Coach Odom and everything they've been through this past year?
I don't know. I think you'd have to ask them that. I think the one cool thing about this conference is, we have seen a bunch of people win it in the last, at least since I've been here, or be at the top of it, right? Whether it's been, it's been Fresno or Utah State or Boise or San Diego State or us, there's, in my time here, a handful of different people have won it. I do think it speaks to the job they've done, and I think that's really impressive. They've done a really good job putting the right pieces of the puzzle together, and then when you watch them play, you can tell that they're well coached and they're doing all the right things. They play super hard, and that's something that I'm kind of always watching for when we play opponents, and the best teams play hard, and they do.
Just the defensive back group has been one of the strong points on this defense this season. Feels like they play with a little bit more edge, a little bit more aggressiveness. Do you think that comes from those guys' personalities individually, or is that something that, as a coaching staff, you guys kind of try to instill into that group?
You talking about our defensive backfield? Yeah. Okay. This is a quick transition there from talking about UNLV to talking about us. I really think that our defensive staff has done a fantastic job. I think Coach Odom and Coach Viney, who are in charge of those two position groups, have done an awesome job. You've also seen a lot of maturity and growth in the leadership from Chase and Trey J. And then it's awesome to see kind of the consistent development of Javion and Michael Dansby and DJ Harvey and Kenyon Reed. So I think it's there's a lot of guys that are contributing in that space, and I think it's been fun to see them grow and get better.
Coach, UNLV's Coach Odom.
Mm-hmm.
Just, is it that easy, or is it his panache to bring that kind of culture so quickly, and, or is it the attraction in the portal, or both, or just kind of digging a little bit for how he did it so quick?
I mean, you got to ask him. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just watching the results like everyone else is, and the results are impressive. You know what I mean? And so that's we're just when you're looking at it as an opponent, you're just looking at what's on the film, and they're good. They're really good offensively. They're really creative. They do a great job of running and throwing the football. They got playmakers at all positions, and then defensively, you can see they're physical. They do a good job getting the quarterback. They're fantastic tacklers. So I think their secondary does a good job playing the ball, and their safeties are good players in space, and they're great tacklers. So I think I think they're doing a great job coaching them, and the pieces that they put together there in terms of the fit, whether that's been from development or from the portal or whatever. The results are what they are. But you got to ask him. I mean, that's his team.
Coach, a lot of implications for Saturday if you guys win. Still, it's still kind of up in the air, right? It goes to computers. I mean, does that process at all bother you, that even if you guys do win, that it's going to go to like a computer and it's going to rank you guys and things like that?
I just worry about what we can control. You know what I mean? That's been something I tell, we talk about with our players all the time, like focus on what you can control. And, I need to do the same, because that part's totally out of our hands. And none of it matters if we don't play well on Saturday. So let's find a way to play good football on the road Saturday against a really good opponent.
And then obviously this UNLV team is a high-powered offense, one of the better offenses in the conference. Is there anything you could take from you guys played a lot of big offenses early in the year? Is there anything you could take from kind of those games that you can apply to playing defensively against an offense like this for Saturday?
I don't think necessarily that we would do that. This is more you're more in kind of a 1 week season where you're just worried about defending what you're getting from this team. You know what I mean? And every team is a little bit different. Sure, lots of people run similar concepts and stuff, but what they do is a little bit different. And their quarterback is athletic. He's a really good player. He's a young player. He's going to be really, really good. He's already really, really good. And does a good job of delivering the football to multiple people. They do a good job using his legs some. And then they have a stable of backs who are all really, really effective. So this is a big challenge for our defense.
Can you talk to the development of the younger underclassmen, and just you see them progressing, and is that like obviously not a scripted thing, but something you want to see, and you see them rising, you see them continuing the culture and process?
No, it's good. I think that's what you want. You know what I mean? And I would say that's also a huge reason why getting bowl eligible is such a big thing for us, because you get those extra practices, and those young players, just like last year, all those young players got the extra practices and the extra reps, and all that stuff pays off. It's like an extra spring ball, right? We make such a big deal about spring ball, and if you don't get to the, and then if you get to the postseason and you're in the bowl game world, you get all those extra practices, and so it's a great time for those young players to develop. And I've said that all along. I still believe that. San Jose State, we're always going to be a developmental program, and there's a process to getting good at college football, and it takes longer for some guys than others, and I think about some of the guys that are playing really good football for us. Tyler Ostrom's a great example, right? He's was kind of part-time player for us last year, and now he started every game and been really good. And so I think it's just for some guys the light goes on sooner than others. I do think that's a little bit messy now with the portal. Sometimes I have seen situations either here or at other places where guys are choosing to transfer before that developmental process can take root. You know what I mean? And then they're kind of essentially starting over. And so, I think there's some good and some bad. Sometimes it's, it's not a good fit, and they need to move on and find a new situation or a new opportunity. But we're always going to be a developmental place, and that's been fun to see those young guys start to get going. And I think you'll see more as in the next couple games. So
on the topic of young guys, obviously it's a big game this Saturday. I mean, for guys, you have guys like Trey Jenkins who've been in big games, Mountain West championships. How do you get the younger guys to kind of get ready and prepare them for kind of what's at stake on Saturday?
We just focus on, again, back to what we control, and our practice environment, and how intentional are we in our meeting rooms, and are they finding ways to get an extra 10 minutes of film or an extra 5 minutes with their coach, or that's where because at the end of the day it's just football, right? And I think there are a handful of players on this roster that have played in big games, and then there's some that haven't, and there's no, you can't simulate what that's going to feel like in the practice environment. So just trying to get them to focus on the fundamentals and their technique and the detail of their assignment, make it as simple as we can for them so that they can execute at a high level and play fast and play with confidence is really our mindset.
You mentioned often just the vast array of schemes and offenses and whatnot.
In the conference? Yeah, it's crazy.
Difficulty. On the flip side, is it an advantage? I mean, you see what Run Shoot, Air Force, obviously, this weird whatever San Diego ran last week.
Yeah.
that really just also maybe prepares you for anything that UNLV will throw at you. I mean, it's not a surprise. You can adjust quickly, I'm assuming.
Well, shoot, you hope. I mean, you hope, but not always. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to settle into what people are trying to do to you. Because they've got really good coaches over there, so they're going to find schemes to try and attack, our offense or our defense or our special teams. And so, it is interesting in this conference. I think that's one of the fun things about it is you do have to deal with, a whole bunch of different scheme and a whole bunch of different like locations and weather. And if you're in, we were in, last year I think mid-November we were in Logan, Utah, and it was like 12 degrees. It was pretty cold. So, so you just have to get ready for a bunch of different stuff. But, these guys are really good. They're doing a really good job.
Quali had a really good game last game.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like just being able to have a guy like Quali and then you have Kyrie have that kind of change of pace within the offense?
No, it's great. I think, and actually UNLV is a really good example of that too, right? Because they've got, like I said a minute ago, a stable of backs that are doing a great job running the football for them. And I think you're always going to need more than one. Just the position, the toll it takes on your body, it's just too physical. It's just so you're always going to need more than one. You would like to have, three, that could kind of take reps off each other and keep each other fresh, that kind of thing. And Quali's just been an awesome addition to our team. He's just, him and his brother, his brother's a freshman on the roster. They're just amazing young men, just serious about school and football and life. And they're just if you haven't gotten a chance to talk to Q, you need to, because he's a really special kid.